Hey everyone, today on League of Legends Minis I wanted to talk about the support role. Specifically, how and when you should roam on support. It's hard to really cover every single specific topic, so I'll go over it in a more general sense. First of all, you should avoid leaving your AD carry during the initial laning phase while a 2v2 is happening. This means that even while warding the Tri-Brush or River, you need to be really careful. 1 to 2 seconds could mean that your AD carry loses his summoners, or worse. The easiest flag for you to recognize is when the enemy laner's back. When the enemy laners, or sometimes just the support, leave the lane, you should be roaming around. The other time you should be roaming is when your AD carry is safely farming. If the lane is frozen really well, or if he's stuck under tower and not in any danger of being dove, that's the important part. If he dies to a dive, he'll fall behind a lot. If your AD carry is safe being alone, let's say the first tier tower has fallen and the wave is shoving towards your side, then it's relatively safe and you can go roam. You being there isn't helpful, it just removes map pressure, so you might as well go do something. You don't necessarily need the experience as much as the other roles, and you definitely don't need the gold as much as the other roles. When you're roaming around, you should look for places to ward. Deeper vision is really nice. You can put vision at certain jungle camps, or some of the important choke points like the areas around river. As for which lane you should be ganking, mid lane is the closest, so that should be your target. Top lane is a bit more difficult to gank and a little more complicated, so I'll just talk about mid lane instead. In most cases, the mid laner is expecting the jungler to gank, not the support. This means that you can really catch him off guard. When you're roaming to the mid lane, you gotta pay attention to how the mid laner is warding. When you know there's no vision nearby, you can go in for a kill. It's as simple as that. But it does require a certain degree of map awareness to understand this. Let's say that your mid laner isn't warding, so you have no idea if it's safe or not to gank the lane. All you have to do is buy a pink. Yes, that's it. Buy a pink, a single pink. It could save your life, it saves time, and you could potentially kill the enemy. It's 100 gold for all that. In most cases, if you intend to roam, you want to buy a pink and sweeper the first time you back. Even if you have no sightstone, don't worry about that. A pink and a sweeper could be significantly more important than having a sightstone, or even boots. But boots are pretty nice too. Ideally you want to get boots while roaming. Toss the pink into the brush closest to the mid lane river. Usually there are wards there. If there's no ward, look at the enemy's movement in lane. If they're playing more passively all of a sudden, or they're just backing off altogether, it's probably warded somewhere. You probably walked over a ward. That's where that sweeper comes in handy. Hopefully it's off cooldown by now, so you can use it to check the nearby brushes, and you may find yourself 10 to 30 more gold by killing a ward. This will help you gain some vision control, and hopefully help your mid laner enough so that he can play aggressively and win the lane. Just make sure you don't leave your lane, the one with the AD carry in it, for longer than a minute or two. Usually a minute is pretty long already, so you don't want to exceed that time. Think about the amount of time you can allocate. It takes around 15 to 20 seconds to get to mid lane from bot lane. It takes around 30 seconds to go from base to bot lane. This means that you can technically go to and from mid lane in the same amount of time it takes the enemy support to return from base, when factoring in the recall time as well. So that's a good guideline for how much time you can allocate. You have a lot of freedom to roam if you pay attention to the map and the timing. However, the moment it becomes a 2v1 lane against your AD carry, and you aren't there, then it becomes your fault if he dies or starts to lose some CS. Your roam is only as strong as how you manage your time. Of course, as usual, there is some nuance to this. Let's say the enemy laner is a Draven and you have a Sivir. Normally you don't want to leave Sivir in a Draven lane, because the Draven has a lot more kill potential on the Sivir. It could also be the case that you have an Ezreal on your team and the enemy has a Vayne. If the Vayne reaches the 1 item power spike or reaches around level 9 to 11, there's a chance that Vayne will be able to solo your AD carry very easily. So you don't want to leave your AD carry with Vayne solo as well. I could go on about this for a long time. The topic of playing support, roaming, understanding matchups, all of that is extremely complicated and very situational depending on the matchups in the game itself. But at least you kind of get an idea of the mindset, what you're supposed to be doing, what you should be expecting, how you should be reacting. The thing with playing support is that roaming is part of your job. You don't have to be Bard, the so-called roaming support, to be able to roam the map. Any support can roam decently well if you do it right. Your incentive is not collecting chimes. It's helping the rest of your team succeed. If you're not the best ganker, you can get some vision. Vision is very good for your team as well. If you're a good ganker, by all means, kill the mid lane. The mid laner is very tasty food for many supports. The overarching point is that your job is to support your team. You gotta be the support. That's what support means. Anyway, I could go on about this for a very long time, but I'll end off this episode here. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching and see you next time.